All right, we are thinking about the seven bowls of wrath, which is one of the shorter cycles of seven, and it is in chapter 16 only. And that is an entire one of the cycles of sevens. And for that reason, because it is the shortest, this is going to be short, but also because it is probably just about the least crucial in displaying this repetitiveness of the book of Revelation. This seven bowls of wrath is very much concerned about this area right here, this part of the story. The final wrath of God is coming, and it is expressed. The final wrath of the Lamb is the way it's been addressed throughout Revelation, and it is focused here when it finally comes. But like I said in the last video, there's sort of a split here that the seven bowls of wrath are focused on the bombs dropping, and the next one, the seven visions of victory, is focused on the immediate aftermath, that the fate of what the bombing accomplished, so to speak, right? But so in the seven bowls of wrath, what we see is that just like what happened with the trumpets, the whole of creation is judged, and it breaks it up into the realms of the earth, or specifically thinking about trees. I'm going to say water. It breaks water up into two parts. The streams and rivers and springs, and the oceans and seas are the other side. But basically, it's earth, water, and the sky, the heavens, are all judged with the stars and the moon and the sun. And where we saw in the trumpets that throughout this age there is a restrained pouring out of the wrath of God on the entirety of creation, now we've come to the full, complete. So 100% of the water is turned to blood, 100% of the sun goes dark, and so on. Now, I just want to say that you can think this is literal or metaphorical. It doesn't matter really so much for whether you understand the amillennial view, right? So either he's really going to do these exact things to all creation, or he's being metaphorical in just saying that he is going to pour out his wrath on all creation, though it might look different than that. That's not important to the amillennial view. The point is just the way it's zooming in on this kind of story here. And so we see then in the fifth bowl that he begins to pour his wrath out more specifically on this kingdom here. And all the kingdom is plunged into darkness. And then what we saw before in trumpets 5 and 6, that there's more of on trumpet 5 is more about these guys coming up and progressing in their dominion over mankind. And then trumpet 6 is about a big demonic army in battle, right? So we see the same mirror in bowls 5 and 6, that we see here punishment on sort of the kingdom, and then we see in bowl of wrath 6 that he punished them by the final battle. So all throughout Scripture, we've seen the promise that one day God is going to fool the nations of the world into gathering in military might against him, and that's when Christ is going to show up and crush them. And here we see that's part of his bowl of wrath here. So that's what's going on in the bowls of wrath. And the seventh one, of course, is sort of the big wipe out everything, the climactic part of the return of Christ and his pouring out of his wrath. But that's what's going on in the bowls of wrath, that it's really zooming in on the fourth part of the story and leaning to this side of it, the whole bombing campaign of the Lamb pouring out his wrath on the world.